Thanks very much, Leslie, and thanks to Julian and to Kate and Fiona for laying the ground for me. So it's just for me to finally mention that this is the latest of this amazing array of projects that Peace and Justice Center have been doing to do with the arts, where my passion is. And let's start with the very title. Over the years, this particular project has had different titles, but we've settled on Peace Cranes, simple as that. And for us, it encapsulates two of the most urgent and probably the most overlapping crises that we are going through just now, the nuclear and the environmental crisis. So if we start from this, the peace building symbolism of the origami peace crane, the exhibition tries to reference the nuclear crisis, yeah? It allows us to look back at the cultural, the arts legacy of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but also to look forward, to imagine these new futures, as Julian was saying, hopeful futures, and to celebrate the significance of the nuclear ban treaty in particular. On the other hand, through the presence of the cranes in the title, the exhibition references the environmental crisis. It allows us to not only look closely at the endangered species of the cranes, I think again, Julian mentioned about the swallows, but also the larger threats of our life support systems, and including, from COVID-19 to the climate emergency, and I would add the ecologies of the arts and culture. Yeah. So daunting task for a independent curator of contemporary art, even for one like myself that shares and supports the vision for peace and peace building, whose advocate the Peace and Justice Center has been for 40 years, I believe. So I was very honored, and I'll just start sharing at this stage my screen, if I can get to this point. Yeah. I was just very honored that I'm not alone in this journey, in this daunting kind of exhibition making journey, but I was joined early on, as soon as I was appointed back in April, by a fellow curator, a fellow art historian, Heather Kiernan. And she also happens to be on the call, and she will be joining us for the panel discussion, also in her other capacity as a trustee of Peace and Justice Center. And together with Heather, we been shaping the Peace and the Peace Cranes exhibition ever since. And well, amidst the pandemic and the lockdown, we've never met, but we've been conducting curatorial research and ongoing conversations with over 20 Scottish and international artists, with our exhibition partners, with funders, potential funders, as well as the wider team at Peace and Justice and the volunteers. And together we curated a 5-hour program of Peace Crane's pre-exhibition online events, which we recorded in August. And this program also commemorated the 75th anniversary of the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. With this pre-exhibition online events, we included 2 live theater performances, 2 artist films, 2 storytelling sessions, and even a masterclass in origami peace crane folding. So they're all fully available, and freely accessible on the Peace and Justice Center website. But most importantly, they were a precursor. These online events were a precursor and featured some of the Peace Cranes exhibiting artists and activists, including Michael Mears, who I believe is on this call today. Thank you, Michael, for joining us. Liu Ashizawa, Chihiro Ono, Jeff Brown, Yori Yamanaka, and Shoji Musazawa, who might be on the call. I believe so as well, Shoji. So tonight, just for for the first time, I would like to reveal what you might expect to experience during the Peace Cranes exhibition come August 2021. The emphasis is on our hope of what you might expect to experience, as planning for so far ahead, as you know, is a bit tricky. So the intention for the Peace Cranes exhibition is to run throughout August next year as part of two major festivals in Edinburgh: the Just Festival, which is the Festival of Human Rights and Social Justice, and this is within the framework of the Fringe. But also, secondly, the Edinburgh Art Festival, which is the largest annual UK festival of contemporary visual arts. And in line with this festival events, Peace Cranes exhibition will offer you a hybrid experience, just about everybody. That's probably will be one of the keywords of 2020, the hybrid experience. So a physical, site-specific, and also digital, inevitably a digital online experience. So today I'll focus on revealing the physical kind of experience, and just briefly mention, briefly indicate the virtual exhibition that you can expect to see. It will be more of a showcase of our curatorial selection of significant works, historically significant works, whether it's performance-based, whether it's photography, whether it's print, music, moving image by Scottish, again, and international artists, contemporary artists, including, I'll just mention Sue Grierson, Pam Skelton, Don Cole, Madelon Huikas, Keiko Sato, and Mara Trala. And all of them, through their works, hoping to express our hopes for peace, for friendship, for the nuclear ban, for the environmental and social justice. Now, for the physical, interesting, yeah. Now, the physical, the site-specific centerpiece of the Peace Cranes exhibition will be a very large-scale installation by the acclaimed Edinburgh-based artist and activist. As you can see, her name here, Juliana Capes. And similarly to Kate, she's also based, her sculptural practice, her artistic practice is based at the Edinburgh Sculpture Workshop. So it will, this centerpiece of our exhibition will be staged at St. John's Church, which is, as we know, similar to the opposing war memorial, is also in the Princes Street Gardens at the very far end, at the west end of the Princes Street Gardens. And it's an iconic Edinburgh city centre site, but also, interestingly, the former home of the Peace and Justice Centre for years, which for the month of August will become more of a sanctuary for all these birds, for all the cranes, for the 140,000 of these origami cranes, as well as to many voices, because we are hoping to include an audio element, voices and stories related to, particularly to the three women. Interestingly, I'm just stuck. Oh, there we go. So just a couple more slides before we move there. So the three women to whom we've dedicated the Peace Cranes exhibition. So we're hoping to enable Juliana to undertake a series of storytelling and Peace Cranes threading or weaving workshops, so that she can weave in the stories of these three women. And who are they? Just briefly to mention, Sadako Sasaki, who is world famous, she's just the Hiroshima schoolgirl, the 12-year-old, who still signifies our hopes for peace and nuclear disarmament. The second woman is the Peace and Justice own member, own volunteer, Atsuko Bechaku, a historian, Edinburgh, University of Edinburgh historian and a pacifist. And her story in particular is very compelling. In 2015, Atsuko embarked on this international endeavor, international collaborative project of folding this vast amount of origami peace cranes to represent the 140,000 people who were killed by the atomic bombing of Hiroshima on the 6th of August 1945. And also to highlight the nuclear ban as a way to ensure that this will never happen again. And the third woman to whom Juliana Cape's installation will be dedicated is equally inspiring, and it is the former president of Ireland and a dedicated climate justice activist, Mary Robinson. Especially in light of her role as the chair of the Elders organization and their Peace Cranes 2020 initiative for remembering Hiroshima and Nagasaki, by invited anyone to fold the peace crane, and also to advocating for a nuclear weapons-free world. So,
recreation room here, where you can sit and watch the TV, or you can read a book, put your boots on, yeah, and we've also got storage.
I have a little bit of interference there, but shall I just carry on?
Yeah, I don't know where that's coming from, but carry on, Iliyana.
Yeah, interesting that. So in addition to the stories of these three outstanding peace builders, these women, and the numerical significance of the 140,000 origami peace cranes, in her new commission, the artist and activist Juliana Capes will bring yet another overarching theme, that of the rainbow. As yet another potent, and you probably expected this from all this priming you with her earlier works, yeah. And yet another potent and universal symbol of peace, in Juliana's own words, that's my only quote for the day, the rainbow signifies, or it can provide hope and a belief in peace without the threats of apocalypse, be that through flood, war, or climate change. So what is more, the rainbow is a significant part of Juliana's own artistic practice. Here's just a little example for you. And much of her current and recent artworks, including the BBC Film Commission, has been about the history and vocabulary of color, as well as the aesthetics and symbolism of rainbows. From its association to climate change, to the weather-related anxiety, to the ideology, to its ideology of being simply of hope and faith. So it's worth reminding ourselves that for the last 40 years, the rainbow has also been inscribed in the visual identity of the Peace&Justice Center. So now this overarching theme, which resonates with both the organization and the artist's own work, will become yet another symbol of hope, symbol of peace for us, which and you can see now in the architectural visualization, just a couple of those that Juliana just literally the other day prepared for us, because we are just right in the middle of this curatorial and artistic research. So hoping to evoke the rainbow, two main things really, the rainbow bridges and the Rainbow Bell Tower. So just briefly a little bit about the two of them, and that will be us for tonight for this project. We won't be able to reveal any more. So these are the main two sculptures, the Rainbow Bridges and the Rainbow Bell Towers, that we hope to create this imposing visual and audio presence in the main space from the west end of the nave, as you can imagine just here, all the way to the altar, and with using this curtain, this rainbow long streams of peace cranes grouped to progress through the color scheme there, through the aisle, making this walkway, rainbow walkway, through the center of the church. And near the altar, in the chapel, just just beside, and in the entrance, we are hoping to have the Rainbow Bell Towers. And then again, similar to the Rainbow Bridges, they are inspired by the Gembaku Dome at the Hiroshima Peace Memorial, as well as the peace bell shape of the Children's Memorial in Hiroshima, which is dedicated to Sadako Sasaki. As well as I believe in the peace builders, the young peace builders that Fiona mentioned, we use the mindfulness bell as well. So in this program, so a lot of resonance is there. So this hopefully will function as rainbow ribbon towers cloaked in all these different long chains of origami cranes, possibly separated in the spectrum in the 7 color groups. So the cranes would hang in this painterly way, this very, very visual, very tactile way, using utilizing the size and the color of all the cranes that we've amassed over the last 5 years. So the crucial thing is you'll be able to enter into this rainbow bell tower, and it almost as a shelter, as a sanctuary, referring probably, and that's where the intention of the artist comes alive, to the intention of the cenotaph in this memorial to the atomic bomb victims in Hiroshima, which is also intended for this purpose, almost to enter to, and to have the chance to contemplate, to view the cranes, including the personal messages inscribed, personal messages of hope and peace, scripted by the contributors, but also to provide this moment of reflection, almost reconciliation. And I'll add a temporary memorial. Unlike the opposing war memorial, this will be a temporary memorial, and the circular shape of the bell is also this as Kate mentioned, a very, very welcoming experience. So once inside, what is more, once inside in this sanctuary, you'll have the opportunity to listen to a new audio work relaying the stories of Sadako, Atsako, and Mary, as well as the voices of some of the Origami Peace Cranes contributors and volunteers, describing their own concerns and their color associations, their meditations, potentially including the choir in the St. John's, world famous, we believe. So ultimately, you'll get this audio environment, this visually stimulating environment, triggering emotions that hopefully will promote on a very, very personal level ideas of peace, empathy, and hope and compassion. And on this, finally helping us to imagine these hopeful futures that Jolyon talked about early on. So I'll probably leave you at this stage. Yeah.